CAT stands for Confidence, Action, Transformation.
Yeah, I was afraid at first. I think confidence came for me in time.
Before her website was even done, which goes to show exactly what you were talking about.
Daily actions that you make and take are what compound over time.
My guest today is Jenna Leadingham, and she is the founder of LeadJenn Marketing and LeadJenn Automations, a wonderful voice and a face in the space of HighLevel and marketing automation for small businesses. I'm on this journey with you. Can't wait to look at it. My guest today is Jenna Leadingham, and she is the founder of LeadJenn Marketing and LeadJenn Automations. She is a wonderful voice and a face in the space of HighLevel and marketing automation for small businesses. I am thrilled to have her here today. Plus, she's been nominated for an EPIC Award for the National Women in Business Association in the state of Kentucky. And I'm just thrilled to have you here, Jenna.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
So how did you get started in all of this automation and tech space?
Well, I grew up in the construction industry, but after I moved here, I was working for a friend's roofing business. And then my boyfriend at the time asked me to come work for his dad. Well, we're married now, have 3 kids. But right before COVID, the business became ours after his dad passed away. But I was doing the marketing for both the roofing and then his dad's business. So just slowly over the last 13 years, I've been doing digital marketing. And so, I mean, like most marketers, I've been self-taught and went through tons of different trainings. And but it was about 3.5 years ago now that I found HighLevel. And yeah, it's just been such a fun journey. And I've learned so much and networked with so many people and learned a lot. And but it's been so fun. And I've just really enjoyed it and how much I've learned about the space and helping businesses grow in a way that's scalable for us and them.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you essentially inherited a business and had to run with it. There's a lot of people in this digital marketing world that sort of start out as freelancers. It's, getting any client you can under your belt when you first start, but you had this business that was, handed down through the family that you guys all of a sudden had to figure out how to market. What were some of the initial things that you had to sort of check off the list when it came to just like their online digital presence?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I did for the roofing company, I'll talk about that one first, is I was like, okay, well, we have a couple things here and there that are as far as like local listings. So I talk to every contractor about how it's important to diversify their listings online. And you don't even have to worry about getting a paid one. Like you can go and get House and Angie and Thumbtack. These are all powerful links that you can get for your business that you don't have to have the upgraded paid ones to start off with. So, but they're also not only good links to have, but you can get reviews there.
Yeah.
And so if somebody doesn't want to leave you a Google review or a Facebook review because of their name or whatever, you can have them put it on Better Business Bureau or House or what have you. Yeah. And so getting your name out there on all these different listings is so important. And it's another place to get reviews. And it's another way that you can showcase your past work. Nice. So I really, really think that's so important for many businesses, and they look over that. So that was kind of like step one. We did that, got more reviews everywhere, and then solidified like their sales and marketing process and helped the 2 teams kind of work together. So I did that in both places, and got together on just like them communicating better, the 2 teams. And then when I was working in window decor, that's my husband's business. So we do plantation shutters, shades, blinds, exterior shades, and custom closets. And that's the majority of our business. We work up in the Louisville, Kentucky area and also Indianapolis. So my step 2 there was getting a CRM in place that was actually more customizable and had reporting, et cetera. The one they were using was very archaic, but it had a lot that you could do with it. But you basically had to be a programmer to do it. But the benefit was it was very cheap. But I was like, well, we're getting rid of this. We're going to get something that's more professional. We're actually, funny story. Because Paige asked me how I first heard about HighLevel. It was actually through Allie.
Okay. Yeah.
So funny story. It was because of Allie. I think it was because of her podcast. So I'd been following Allie for a long time.
Shout out to Allie.
Yes. Yeah. And I slowly started hearing her talk more and more about HighLevel. And so that's how I first found out about it. But when I was first looking at it, it was not what it is today. So if you're using HighLevel now, thanks to the HighLevel team, it is far more advanced than I was when I was first looking at it.
That's so true. Yes, I was introduced around 2020. And if you're listening to this or watching this podcast right now and you still don't know what HighLevel is, please just go check out some other links around this video or my channel. It's a huge opportunity. But in 2020, I thought, okay, the promise is cool. It's all in one. Everything's here for marketing and sales for a business, but it's buggy. I'm not sure about this yet. And here we are, beginning of 2026, and it's just evolved so much in front of our eyes. And now there's not a place I could think that would be better to build for the average business in America or worldwide, actually.
Mm-hmm. And in my eyes, HighLevel was built for marketing agencies, and I would still say that to this day, because many business owners, they get in there like, I don't even know what to do. And that's why you need somebody who's really in the tech field to kind of get you started off on the right foot. And we got him on a new CRM when I was there, and started getting reporting, and had the sales and marketing teams working together again, and got a new digital website up that was actually looking more and more like their brand.
Nice.
And so got an online branding just up and running, and then got that working together with the sales team. So that was kind of like our evolvement over the first couple of years, me being at Window Decor.
That's amazing. So you've really just, like you said, self-taught. It's sort of like learn as you go. Yeah. And I mean, I'm constantly encouraging people, go get paid to learn. And in your case, you essentially did, because you had a business that was your family business essentially, and you had to make it work. And that was how you getting paid to learn effectively. So then fast forward now that you resell the HighLevel platform, and you're selling those licenses, and then you're also still doing custom builds for clients.
Yep. So build websites or custom builds on HighLevel. Or if they just want to help getting reviews, I set them up as stage 1, and then we can go on to like a higher paid plan when they're ready.
Okay, amazing. I know that a lot of people are going to be curious about how you're getting those clients and what you're doing for them and going there. But first and foremost, I just want to ask you, did you have to shift your thinking, or what has it been like for you to think about each time you go into a project? Like, where did you get the strength to go, oh, I can be a digital service agent. Like, I can build automation. I call them digital architects. Like, when was that deciding factor for you that you really embraced it and you thought, oh, I can be a digital architect, not just for my family business, but for any other business that needs the help?
I think it came from me, like, just people coming to me, constantly asking questions, like, and people referring me, and it built my confidence up. Yeah. And for me personally, like, I didn't come with a sales background. I think a lot of people come into the world either with marketing background or sales background. And so for me, that was like, it pushed me to the next level of like, okay, I can do this for other people. And I guess to answer your question about sales, where I get them a lot from referrals, and I always encourage people to go and do stuff within Facebook groups. They are so effective. Yeah. And if you can do it the right way, and when I say that, I mean, like, it's not sell. Shout out to Mike. He's really taught me feed fish. So don't go out there just asking for sales all the time in Facebook groups, or you'll sound really spammy. But so I talk a lot about things educationally, or just share wins, et cetera. And that's really helped.
That's really powerful. Plus, you're also highly visible on your social media and on YouTube. And I think there are a lot of people in my space and a lot of clients that I work with in our inner circle that are ready and willing to build their services out and resell HighLevel and jump into this opportunity. And they're afraid to be visible. Did you ever go through any of those challenges, or was it just something you just naturally started doing and it snowballed?
Yeah, I was afraid at first. I think confidence came for me in time. I think some people are naturally more confident than others. I wouldn't say everyone's naturally confident, but it just came as like reps. And it's something I hear Matt DeCino say all the time. So shout out to Matt. But a lot of these things just come from reps. And so like with sales, that comes through me with reps. And so if you're struggling with either sales, marketing, like becoming visible on your socials, it's like put in the work. And even though it might be uncomfortable, it's just like the daily actions that you make and take are what compound over time.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that just makes it really fun.
That's so true.
So just daily compounding work that you're doing.
That is it. I think it's just remembering that the next step might just be a small one, but when you take it, that's actually what creates confidence. I had this short analogy in a little video clip I used to share with people is don't be a scaredy cat. And CAT stands for confidence, action, transformation.
Oh,
because a lot of people think like when I feel confident, then I'll take the action and I'll get this transformation. I'll hit my goals. But you actually need to flip that around into the acronym ACT, because you actually take the action first, then you build confidence, then you get your transformation, hit your goals.
I love that.
So you're saying the exact same thing, which is we just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Well, shout out and take a look in the show notes. There'll be a link to Jenna's YouTube channel as well. You can go check out some of the videos and the interviews that you've been putting out. So that's amazing. Yeah. So tell me about your process. Because you're so visible and you're showing up in Facebook groups and adding value, people reach out to you and they say, hey, I think I could use your help with automation, or I need a new website.
Yeah.
What do you do from there?
I usually just invite them to jump on a call with me. And so that's just, I don't go through any sort of like something special, and I generally don't even show HighLevel to people. Matt taught me that. And so when you're going through things with people, it's like I'm talking to them educationally.
Yeah.
And so just like, where are you at? Where do you want to be? And how are you trying to get there now? And then I educationally show them, this is what I think would be best next steps for you. And so we customize a plan. I don't have cookie cutter plans. And which makes it a little bit harder for people to self-check out, but it's important to me. Everybody has a plan that's actually going to work for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
That's really powerful. And we were talking about this before we started recording is, there's a time and there's a place for everything. And I think there are so many people that can be stuck. If you're not stuck, by all means, please keep moving. But there are people who can be stuck in the beginning thinking, I have to get it perfectly dialed in. There has to be a self-checkout process that automatically creates the account that's automatically perfect with the perfect snapshot. I think there's a time and a place for that. And there's also a real beauty in saying, listen, this is custom. And by that nature, it's high ticket because it's high attention for me. And that can serve a lifestyle, especially as you start building up your confidence and taking more action.
Yeah. And I think if you're doing consultative calls, it does in turn, as you're putting in those reps, make you more confident. So if that's something that you're lacking, I think it's an important step to take, because the more calls you get on, the more things that you do, the more confident you'll get, and people will see it.
Yeah.
There's a difference once you get there. That's an encouragement I would have to anybody, is just put in the work and don't I wouldn't even encourage anybody to put that checkout page or encourage self-checkout until you put in tons of reps on those sales calls. Yeah. Because you need to be out there and you're serving and solving an actual problem rather than just trying to get people to sign up on a page.
That's right. So when you work with these businesses, obviously, AI is incredibly hot right now. Just the words, the letters, the two letters itself just turns a light bulb on for people. And then I just feel automation, because there are so many businesses around everyday main streets that still haven't automated anything, and they're leaving money on the table with their current clients, and they're just not doing anything to bring in new business. So what, in your mind, when you try and simplify it and you have those conversations, what are some of the top things where you're trying to, or you're encouraging and recommending AI to be infused, and where do you look for the automation wins?
For me, it depends on who I'm talking to, but if it depends on where they are in their journey as a business. If I'm talking to somebody who's pretty brand new, I'm not even gonna really recommend voice AI until they get some foundational pieces. And when I talk about that, I'm like automatically asking for reviews, automatically responding to the reviews, and then maybe having a little bit of conversational AI, reaching out as like people come in off their chat widget or things like that. But I don't even think a lot of automation is important until they get some foundational pieces. Because you even come to these places who don't even hardly have a functioning website. And that's so much more important at the beginning than having AI if they don't even have a functioning website or an optimized Google business profile. Yep. So to me, I like look at that ladder of like, I almost think of it as a pyramid. It's like you have to have your foundation set up first. Yeah. And then you can go up this ladder. So I always like set people up on HighLevel first, integrate it with their website, and then we start going up this ladder on like, okay, here's step 2 for you, etc.
Okay, great. So the foundational piece at the bottom in your eyes is their business listings and their website. Yeah. Making sure that it's all dialed in. Yes. When you move up that ladder or the pyramid here and you move into the automation category, what are some of the top wins that you look for?
Honestly, I feel like it's so easy to look at the recipes in HighLevel because a lot of those are perfect. You look at the FAQ replies, all your different simple. I would probably start somebody else after that on like the simple replies with conversational AI right after they've reached out on the website. Yeah. Missed call text back is a great one, but now you have the voice AI, and I would say that's a good step too if they've started to get into HighLevel, and they are actually knowing how to use it, etc. Because the first couple weeks to maybe a month or 2 months, it does take a lot of getting used to on how to get in there and go to the conversation area and get yourself and your business, depending on your size, accommodated to using a new CRM.
Yes, you have the training piece as well. And if they've invested in a project fee and they get the software, we're all incentivized to make sure that our clients actually use the system. So that's a very good point. And just again, for those watching and listening and thinking, well, I've really only built websites so far, and I'm just not sure if I can step into this automation, playing field. A lot of what Jenna and I are talking about really does come down to simplistic things. And I always think of automation in 3 buckets. I'm like, you've got prospecting. So anybody who's a lead and hasn't yet paid for anything. You've got onboarding. That's for anybody who's paid money to any kind of business. What do you do to welcome them in? And what are the next steps of that service fulfillment, right? And then the third bucket, I call it next boarding, because you don't really want to offboard clients ever. Right. You want to get them to get you a review or give you a referral or maybe even upsell them into another service that you have. Yes. And so those 3 buckets alone can really help you just simplify it. And I actually guide all of our prospects through that. I go, look, we're going to talk about these 3 buckets. And it just becomes very conversational. What do you do as soon as somebody joins? As soon as somebody pays? What goes out immediately? Well, what would you like to go out immediately? And they can be as simple as that without, kind of getting wrestled in the tech jargon.
Yes, totally. I love that. I've also heard sales, support, and service. And so I really like the 3 S's is what I've heard. Nice. And so taking people through that, making sure they know what their pipeline and customer journey is. And because some people don't even have that except for in their mind. And That's so right. Putting that down on paper or in this case, digitally, I think is so important and eye-opening for people.
Yeah, I think, that's so powerful. And that also reminds me that whether you've got the 3 buckets of automation and you call them what I call them, or you've got the 3 S's, right, is that we start to gain confidence and we come off as more of an expert in our space because of the work we've put in when we already have that process for people, that methodology to tell them, like, these are the ways that we look at this. Now let's have a conversation and figure out what action steps we actually need to build in here.
Yes.
So that's amazing. All right. So tell me about, you have actually separated your brand into the marketing side for the services and the automation side, which is really your white labeled software opportunity with HighLevel. Tell me about, like, I can tell you how I got super excited about the opportunity, but in your mind, like, what do you envision for the next 5 years by building out this software recurring revenue?
I love seeing people grow and have fun with it and taking people to the next level. Yeah. And a lot of them are excited about it, you know, just like, oh, well, I can get rid of this, this, and this. And
consolidating software tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they're like, I literally had one come off of 4 different tools, and now she's just got one. So she went from paying four things to now one. And that's so not only powerful time-wise, but just cost-wise.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun for her. And to see her light up like that is super fun. I don't really have any like huge lofty goals on like revenue, or my one initial goal is to get a SaaS award. But other than that, like I just really enjoy serving people. And especially locally is fun. Because you get to know people a tiny bit better and run into them. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, I started my business to help my husband's businesses. And I definitely have done that. So now everything else just feels like icing on the cake. And it's been fun to serve also my friends and family that have come and asked for help in a scalable way.
That's really powerful. I love how when I asked you a question about where you see your future, you know, with your business, it's all about other people. It's like, well, what can they do on that? And I feel that so strongly because every single client that we've launched a website for, an AI growth website system, like got all the automation in place, there's still so much upside. They can infinitely scale. They can always build more workflows. They can always tap into one more feature on the platform. It's never done because it's constantly growing. So I really love that too, because I admire the way you put that. Is I'm excited for the future because it means that all of these people I'm helping to support are going to get to keep growing year over year.
Yeah, and if you're a business owner listening to this, one thing I always tell all my users is like, if you want to do more, ask for more. You know, and, but you got to put in the work. You know, I see people sometimes be like, okay, I have a website now. You know, I expect the leads to just come in. No, like and I told somebody the other day, it's like, you have 2 things in this life, you know, are you going to spend your time on getting more leads or your money? So it's like, if you're needing more leads and to generate more income for your business, you got to work on one or both of those things. You know, spend your time, and you can do podcasts like this or going to BNI or so many other things. Or you could spend your money on something like ads or running new campaigns on different avenues. And it doesn't have to be just digitally. Like there's postcard campaigns you can do and whatnot. Be unique and different in you.
That's right. Okay. So, for the average small business, it's running their business, especially, you know, they've got a brick and mortar location and they need this type of help. They are faced with hiring someone like you and I to help them, or trying to bring it in-house, or hiring freelancers. And I think what's powerful, no matter who they find, is to find somebody who wants to understand their business and actually build it the right way, rather than blindly trying to assign something that they don't fully understand. Yeah. And that's why the platform was built for marketing agencies, because we've spent, you know, in my case, over a decade learning the language in order to provide I'm the bridge between what can be built, what's possible, and actually getting it done.
Yes.
So that's really powerful. And I think for what you also just said too applies to agency owners, website designers, service providers.
Yeah.
And I want to go down this road a little bit, which is any of those marketing methods will work. Visibility, getting on podcasts, right? Showing up in Facebook groups, paying for ads if you want to go that route, right? Sending postcards, like you said, right? Or in my case, I even teach people to send out video emails. And you can even make cold calls. You can call people and build rapport. There's all of these ways. In your mind, like, what advice do you have for somebody who's just beginning and thinks, well, that's cool for you, Jenna. You've had clients for the last so many years, but I'm just getting started. What do you tell them?
For me, like what worked for me getting started is just picking up the phone and calling people.
Me too. That's where I started as well.
Yeah. So I just cold called. And when I was really starting to ramp things up, we were living in Jeff at the time, and we were living in this new construction neighborhood. And so I just started calling these trucks on these people that were driving in our neighborhood. And that's where I got several clients that way.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I started ramping up, and then through friends and family doing work for them, and then they would share it. So that's kind of how I ramped up. And then I do a lot in Facebook groups. So put yourself out there. One of my favorite things that I've ever heard Matt DeCino say is like working on visibility and then attractiveness and responsiveness. I think so often marketers get this backwards.
Okay, explain.
Yeah. So visibility, like making sure that people can see you. And that's like posting on your personal profile, posting on your business profile, etc. You should go get a actual Google business profile. Somebody called me with 65 locations the other day off my Google business profile.
Amazing.
So it is really important to set yourself up so you can be visible online. And then you work on attractiveness and then responsiveness. Attractiveness I see as like making sure my website actually looks good. But I think people kind of do this backwards of like, oh, I need to have a perfect looking website before I go and cold call. And that is not the case.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think everybody does, a lot of people do this backwards. I shouldn't say everybody, but go out there, make connections, make yourself visible, and then go and like maybe make an attractive website and then work on your responsiveness. But nobody will even care how responsive you are if nobody can find you.
And your responsiveness is how quickly you get back to them.
And how easy it is to maybe schedule with you. And so all these like, I think of it as like a third step, but I tell people this all the time, either on affiliate calls or that are my prospects. It's like, no, you have to do this in order or it won't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, so powerful. Mm-hmm. And that actually reminds me, and shout out to Matt DeCino, because he keeps being brought up and he's such a great guy in this space. And I was telling the story the other day to some of my inner circle members. I said, my friend Michelle, shout out to Michelle, she didn't have a website, but she kept pushing back on me. She kept saying, well, I'll actually talk to somebody about my services once my website's done. And she had done this thing to me where I was telling her for about 8 months that my heart was calling me to launch a coaching program. And she said, if you don't launch a coaching program, I won't be your friend anymore. And so I played the same thing to her. And I said, if you don't send out at least 5 videos, I won't be your friend anymore. And I was like, I don't need your website to be done. I need you to get out there and talk to people.
Yes.
She sent out 5 videos to 5 of her favorite YouTubers and landed one as a client and landed a $31,000 contract before her website was even done, which goes to show exactly what you were talking about. What's going on, Destiny Makers? I just wanted to take this quick commercial break sponsored by, well, me. If you've been hearing these stories and you are inspired and want to actually start crafting your destiny and building, especially if you build for other clients and you want to dive in more with resources, I have a completely free workshop and masterclass to invite you to, as well as the Kismet Club, where you can go deeper and we can turn this fun and this magic into daily support. So come check it out, kismet.club, and I'll see you on the inside.
Yes.
And her visibility didn't have to come at, the end of 9 months of consistent organic posting. Mm-hmm. She went straight to the source. So if you're listening to this, and check out on my YouTube channel, there is I think it's how to get more clients with video outreach. Check it out. I share exactly what Michelle did. And anyway, moving on, because you're absolutely right. And that visibility, I think what a lot of people don't really anticipate in this space, right? We're digital architects. Mm-hmm. We're learning the tech behind the scenes, but then we also have to be our own marketing department and our own sales department.
Yes.
And I really feel that the visibility, which is the marketing part of this, it becomes intimidating and scary when we're thinking about the sales that have to be completed at the other end of that. And instead, if we just switch our thinking into, we're offering solutions for people. I'm not selling anything.
Yes.
I am offering my expertise, my time, my willingness to sit behind a computer screen, my team's energy that I'm delegating to. That's what I'm offering.
Yes.
So when it goes from I'm offering something instead of I'm trying to sell something to you, I feel like everything changes, and then you just show up and just go, okay, I'm going to share behind the scenes of what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I know you share a lot of different types of content, and you're interviewing the founders of HighLevel, and you're doing behind the scenes stuff of what you're building. When you sit down to think about your content calendar for the month, is it perfectly dialed in? Is it organized? Do you have a system, or, how do you approach all that?
Well, at this stage of my life, it's not perfectly dialed in. I am a wife and I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And we own collectively 3 businesses. So I definitely don't feel like I have anything perfectly dialed in at this point in my life, but I have become okay with that and come to grips with that, and that's okay. Especially like where we are in our lives. But can confidently say I'm really proud of where we're at.
Well, I see you everywhere, so it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, and I guess one thing I've learned over the last couple years, primarily just I think being in Matt's inner circle, has been just like the importance of sharing from my heart and not making it all about like selling, and but I think between Matt and Mike Schmidt, I've learned a lot from the 2 of them collectively. Is just like I share, and then ask for sales. So I think a lot of it just comes from my heart, and that's kind of what I lead with, especially when it comes to sales calls. And I'm not like a pitch person. So if somebody wants to reconnect with me after I've talked to them, it's not that I don't email them, but they're usually the ones who are coming back to me and saying, hey, we finally need to get this done. And so, but for me, I'm just really, really heart driven, and that's important to me.
Yeah. I love that. I really feel like the authenticity is what people are craving these days. Yeah. They don't need you to have it all perfect. I mean, I've received so many yeses to contracts of things I didn't know how to fully do 100% of the pieces. Maybe I knew 90%. The other 10%, I was like, I think that's possible, but I'm gonna have to go do some research. And, there's always that phone call to the client to go, that thing you wanted to do, here's what I found. And just being willing to be open with people, and just open-hearted. Like, I'm on this journey with you. Can't wait to help you grow your business. Here's what we're going to build. Yeah. Right. And we're going to figure it out as we go. We're going to collaborate in this space, and we're going to make it happen. Yeah. So that's wonderful, because
I want to be somebody's partner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's actually a line item in my proposal. And by the way, go grab that for free in my community. My proposal, it just basically says our entire project is going to be done in a transparent and collaborative way, because it's a collaboration, right? It's that it's not a legal partnership, but it's an energetic partnership on what they want to do with their business. Yeah. Well, I love this. And a question that I ask every single one of my guests, because, the name of the show is the Kismet Show. My brand is Kismet. It's a word actually that someone said to me on a first date, and I had never heard the word before, but it means fate or destiny. And so I'm constantly asking, if you're watching or listening this still in this point in the podcast, think the answer for yourself. But Jenna, for you, when you think of your fate, your destiny, and what you're crafting in your life, what's the next big thing that is on your bucket list to accomplish, to actually craft what you're looking for yourself?
Oh boy. Man. The next big thing that I'm crafting for myself, I think one of the reasons I really got into HighLevel, I guess, was just the constant self-growth, I think, all the time. And probably one of the reasons that has fueled me to stay in Matt's community is just the constant motivation I've always gotten from being around everybody in that community. And one thing I'll share here, I feel like you can look into some of the other groups within the HighLevel space, and I just love the culture he brings around his groups. And I don't know if that's on purpose or like how, or if it's just because it's Matt, but it's like everybody's growing and pushing each other in a way that I think it's really cool. But for me, it's just like I want to always be constantly being better than I was yesterday, and not so much a competition with anybody but myself. And so I would say that's probably like my answer, and like striving to help my kids and my husband do the same thing. And and the businesses I work with. And that's like really at the end of the day, how I feel about me and my clients and my family is like, I just want to see everybody do better every day, I guess.
Well, that's powerful. I feel like what I heard you say was that, you're looking for that continued personal growth, and that to be in a community with other people growing is what really fuels that for you.
Yeah. I just think it's been really and just fun being around everybody who wants to grow, and whether that be physically, emotionally, spiritually. I think it's all areas of life are so important, and in your business. And it's like, and so all these different aspects of your business, and yourself help fuel your business growth. So if you're neglecting different parts of yourself, your business isn't going to grow alongside of that. So I think that's been just, for me, a journey that I've been on the last 6 years that was when I started my business, was 6 years ago. I've been in digital marketing for longer than that, about 13 years now. But, and I don't know, I just think that's like the most important thing you can do for yourself and your business is just to continually be growing in all the different areas of your life.
Yes. And, I always need that reminder too. So it's really easy as entrepreneurs for the business goals to be front and center. Yeah. And then we sometimes, years and months and years go by, and that's what our focus has been instead of a broader view of the little moments and the family treasures and the personal self-development. And so wonderful reminder for myself, and I'm sure for everybody listening.
Yeah. And the Heights have taught me that a lot this year is like really working on all stages of your life and like where you're at with your family and so on. So I've really learned a lot from them the last year. Nice. So if you don't follow them, Karen and JC Hyatt are pretty cool.
Yeah, I love those guys too. So many shout outs today.
Yeah.
Such amazing people in this community because, at its core, I am trying to really spread the word that this is an incredible opportunity. It's a business opportunity. It's a software opportunity. It's an opportunity to really serve a lot of other business owners. But then it's the community and the culture and the innovation and the creativity and the personal development that you get by being in this world that is just really icing on the cake.
Yeah. And the constant involvement of HighLevel, I think, fuels me in a way that I haven't expected. Yeah. Just because it is constantly evolving, you have to kind of be on your toes.
Yeah. And weekly, if not daily updates.
Yes. And so I think that's something that I kind of didn't expect of like, because this is always changing, I always have to be ready for like something that might be said or updated or et cetera. But because of that, it's like you literally have to always be learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And willing to explore new things.
Yes.
100%. And also too, and I think you had said it earlier on about, I'm okay. I've rested in the fact that I don't have this perfect dialed in system. You also have to have that feeling within the HighLevel platform. You go, okay, I am learning as much as I possibly can. I am rested in the fact that there are 15 to 1,500 more features that I could potentially check out and build, and just wait for that real use case to come along. Yeah. I meet people all the time that will send me direct messages and say, I'm thinking about doing A, B, or C. Which one should I do? And my answer is always the same. Go find a client that needs A, B, or C and build it for them. Yes. You don't need to build in a vacuum to learn the feature set. Go help somebody.
Yes, exactly. And so when you're jumping on those prospective calls, you should be actually solving a problem, not just selling a service. Right. Because then you're doing them a disservice and yourself. Yeah. And so I think that's one thing that's so important, is actually selling as consultative as you can, something that's going to produce a great outcome for them. And, but yeah, I think you're right on that. It's like, and there's so many different ways. I think people also get stuck in is like, there's different ways you can niche down. And so whether that be locality or product that you're selling or servicing, or that could be actual niche.
Like an industry niche, yeah.
And so like there's different ways that you can niche or niche down, and it doesn't have to be the one that everybody says of just, you have to niche down of like what service or what industry they're in. So you can also think about it that way. It's like if you're stuck and you're like, oh, I don't know who to go sell to. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Like you could also just sell one product. There's shout out to Clay. He's like killing it in the review space right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like there's so many different ways that you can niche down and be very successful with it as like a marketing or software agency.
That's so true. That is so true. And then we also talked about it's also a timing thing in your life. It's a lifestyle thing in your life.
Yes.
It's how much cash flow you need at this moment in your life. It's how passionate and excited you are about that particular industry or that particular service that drives you to go in that direction. But the best thing you can do for yourself, even if you don't know the answer, is to just take the next step.
Yes.
Because staying stuck to try and perfect it all is going to keep you and prevent you from actually closing deals and getting going. So yeah, that's tremendously valuable and important. And, you know, if all you do this week is show up more visibly and have more conversations, you're at least building momentum.
Yes. Yep. Getting yourself visible. So important. Or pick up the phone. That's what Paige and I did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I had a Chamber of Commerce directory and I was cold calling for my first few clients. So it still works today because we are at a very pivotal point in human history where AI is, you know, we're on this seesaw of how much AI is in everyone's view on a daily basis. I mean, I'm even reading newsletters of all the humanoid robots that are going to be in houses, and real, genuine human authenticity that you can get over a course of a phone call, that cannot be replicated. That is something that is genuinely real human. And so the more you can be human, get out there, the better. So this is amazing. Well, Jenna, I love everything that you're doing. It's so fun knowing that you're in the community and then you're also local. You keep interviewing some amazing people and, you know, bringing their secrets to the table. Is there anything else that you'd wanted to share today in this episode that we haven't covered yet?
I don't think so. We covered like all my favorite things to talk about. But yeah, just put yourself out there, become visible, and allow people to reach out to you in a really easy and scalable way.
Yeah. Love it.
That's my biggest thing that I would encourage everybody to do.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, check out the show notes, the links in the description, and keep going. Take action. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.